Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilma. How is everyone? Hope that you all are well, learning, enjoying your learning. Okay, today we are solving one more paper. Paper 2, Computer Science, Algorithms, Programming and Logic. 0478, Paper 22, October, November 2024. The duration of the paper is 1 hour 45 minutes. You have to answer on the question paper. No additional materials are needed. A few instructions which you know, but let's recap. The paper is, you have to answer all the questions. Use a dark blue or black pen. You're allowed to use HB pencil for any diagrams or graphs. You have to write your name, center number, and candidate number in the given boxes. You have to write your answer to each question in the given space. Do not use an erasable pen or correction fluid at all. Do not write on any barcodes. Calculators must not be used in the paper, so please do not carry the calculator to the examination hall. Information is the paper is of 75 marks. As you know, the number of marks for each question or part question are given in brackets. There is no mark to be awarded in case you are using the brand name, so please refrain from using the brand names at all, because then you will not score any mark at all. Now move to question number 1. Tick one box to complete this sentence. A solution to a problem may be represented using pseudocode, flowcharts, or procedures, processes, structure diagrams, or subsystems. Structure diagrams, good, very nice. Question number 2. Tick one box to complete this sentence. A pseudocode example of selection statement is call, sorting, value 1, value 2, declare, count, integer. If x equals to 7, then by assignment operator 21 end if, while x is not equal to -1 do. So out of these 4, which one is the example of selection statement? That's very nice, Ali. This is the sentence that is depicting selection statement. But by the way, just recall, what is call? What is call sorting doing? It's wonderful. It's calling the procedure by the name sorting with 2 parameters. Very nice. Declare. Okay, that's wonderful. Declare is meant to help you in declaration of the variables. If is basically your selection statement. And what about while? While is iteration loop. That's wonderful. Which type of loop, by the way, is it? It's a conditional loop. Great. And which condition is it? Is it precondition or postcondition? Wonderful, Ahmed. It's a precondition loop because the condition is checked before the loop enters. That's wonderful. By the way, any questions before we proceed to the next question? None? Okay, that's wonderful. Let's move to question number 3. 4 flowchart symbols and 5 purposes are shown. Draw one line. Okay, question number 3. 4 flowchart symbols and 5 purposes are shown. Draw one line to link each flowchart symbol to its correct purpose. Flowchart symbols are on the left-hand side and the purposes are on the right-hand side. Now, do you want to do it on your own? Okay, giving you a minute, do it and then we will discuss. This one is subroutine. That's wonderful. A subroutine. This one is terminator. Great. This one is decision box. This one is process box. Great. By the way, if, for example, if someone says this to be subroutine, maybe that will might be treated as a right answer for also. Fine. Although, I mean, I know that you people know it very well that subroutines are definitely shown in this manner, like process box drawn and then two vertical lines. But in case if some student has written like this, then they might consider this to be a correct answer also. But otherwise, definitely, I will definitely recommend that you are going to take the right option, subroutine, the process box with two vertical lines, the terminator, the decision box is again shown, and the process box. Any questions? You all scored 4 out of 4? Great, wonderful. Let's move to the next part of the question. Now, an algorithm needs to total 50 numbers between 1 and 100 inclusive. Draw a flowchart that uses a count control loop from 1 to 50, uses an appropriate prompt to ask for a number between 1 and 100, totals the numbers as they are entered, outputs the total after the loop has completed with an appropriate message. Now be clear. First thing is you have to take inputs of 50 values, and then you have to prompt the person to enter a value between 1 and 100 inclusive. And you have to total all the numbers that are entered by the user. And then in the end, you have to output the total after the loop has been completed. Do you want to try it? That's great. Wonderful. Try it out, and then we'll discuss it together. Yes, Ali, are you able to comprehend how to attempt this? Okay, now no worries. Just make a rough flow chart and then we'll discuss it and then we'll see that whether our answers are matching or not, isn't it? Okay, now no worries. I'll show it to you and then you can see that whether your rough draft was similar to what we have right. Fine. Now, see, first of all, you have to use the appropriate terminators, like for start and stop. There are going to be marks for that. Then you have to initialize the variables. The one that you remember, that this is what they have said, that you have to use a count control loop. Means that they want you to work with some sort of variable initializing. And you remember, whenever it's the total thing that we need the total to be initialized. Okay, totals the numbers as they're entered, then appropriate prompt. That is again very important, that you have to use an appropriate prompt to ask for a number between 1 and 100. It means it will not be a simple input. It should be with a proper message. And output the total after the loop has been terminated, has been completed. And this again is going to be with an appropriate message. So actually, they want the students to concentrate on these things. So for that reason that we can see here, loop initializing, increment and termination, input with prompt, total initialized and totaling of the inputs are taken properly. You have used the proper output messages and you have to use everything properly with like wherever it is needed, yes or no or whatever. So here this is a sample flowchart. First is your start and definitely your end. Then as I said, you have to initialize total and count. Total with 0 and count with 1, because it said that you have to iterate 50 times, means that count is the variable. Output, enter a value between 1 and 100. See, this is going to definitely be the major concern of the examiners. It has the student given an appropriate message, that was appropriate prompt. Output, the keyword, enter a value between 1 and 100. Input number, then that is very simple. Total equals to total plus number, count equals to count plus 1, and then the decision being made. Again, remember that there's no, as such, there's nothing like a loop in flowcharts, but we show the loop in this manner. Yes, I think this is what we have learned. We are going to use the decision box, and we will say, is count greater than 50? Yes, it will terminate the loop. If that is no, then be very careful. The line should be moving towards this, and do not forget to use the yes or a no. So if is count greater than 50, yes, it is going to move down. No, it will iterate again with a message for the user again, the enter value between 1 and 100, input taken, again totaling done, count equals to count plus 1. And in this manner, the loop will be working 50 times. And once the loop has iterated 50 times, the condition is now true. The value of count has become greater than 50. So it will be now output the total is a variable total and stop. So in this manner, if you have taken care of all the basic things, you have initialized properly, you have used the right symbols for the messages for output or input, and the appropriate box for the process box for initializing as well as performing the totaling or the counting, then definitely you'll be able to score full marks. By the way, yes, exactly. Something similar to this one we have been doing in the class, so I hope that that was not a problem for you, isn't it? Okay, that's wonderful. So 6 marks are yours. See, so easy to score, isn't it? Now, moving to the next question. Any questions? Now, question number 4. This is for, now, this pseudocode algorithm is intended to sort a pre-populated 1D array named item list into alphabetical order using a bubble sort. Now, this whole pseudocode is meant to perform bubble sort. Now, they are asking me to identify the line numbers of 5 errors in the pseudocode and suggest a correction for each error. Now, this is your whole program. Fine. Now, declare item list array 1:100 of string, declare counter string, declare limit integer, declare passed integer, declare swapped boolean, declare temp string. Limit equals to 100, pass equals to 1, temp equals to true. While swapped equals to true, or pass less than or equal to limit minus 1, do. Swapped equals to false. For count equals to 1 to limit minus pass. If item list of counter is greater than item list of counter plus 1, then temp equals to item list of counter equals to item list of counter plus 1, item list of counter equals to temp. Swapped equals to true, end case. Pass equals to pass plus 1, next counter, end while. By the way, this is your entire pseudocode. Giving you 2 minutes. Just try it out. That are you able to figure out a few problems? Now, which is the first error? Okay, that's wonderful. Line number 2, counter string is an error, definitely. Which else is a glaring one? Like, definitely we are just identifying. We're not going to do anything, but we are identifying the errors in our code. So first error identified, line number 2. Then anything else that strikes your mind? Line number 9, temp equals to true. Exactly, that should be swapped equals to true. Great. And what else? Glaring thing, very nice. End case, it should be end if here because we are checking the condition. 100 elements are here. So limit is accurate. Okay, let's see. Let's figure out that are our observations correct. So the first error is in line number 2, as we talked about. Declare counter string is wrong. It should have been declare counter integer. The way we talked about, line number 2 has an error. It should be declare counter integer and not counter string. Second error is in line number 9, as we said. Line number 9, temp equals to true is wrong. it should have been swapped equals to true, because swapped is the variable that is meant, that is basically a Boolean value. And we are going to talk about this to be a true or false. That's why line number 9 has an error also. Line 2, line 9, then what else? Line 10. While swapped equals to true or pass equals is less than or equal to limit minus 1 is incorrect. It should have been with an and. So the next error is in line number 10. While swapped equals to true and pass less than or equal to limit minus 1 is a problem. Identified properly, end case is a problem. It should have been end if in line number 19. And let's see what else is the problem. Line number 19, end case is the wrong thing. It should have been end if. And another thing that you observed earlier, that's wonderful. Basically, very nice that we have learned this technique that whenever we are performing swapping, then basically item list of first value is moved to temp. So then first location will hold the data from the second. So now second location is empty. The next location is empty. It should not be counter. Otherwise, it will be, you can say, a sort of writing the data at the same previous location. It should have been in line number 17, item list, counter +1, arrow temp. Because the data that was moved from the first location to temp will now be moved to location number 2. Like in the first case, if you're talking about 2 locations, first and second. So first location data is moved to temp, then second location data is moved to the first location, and then second location will be occupied by the value that was stored in the temporary location. I mean, this is what we have learned actually, remember. We talked about, for example, if there are 2 students, like for example, Zeram and Bilal, and Zeram is seated in the first place and Bilal is seated in the second place. If, for example, I want them to interchange their positions, so for that, what is supposed to be done? If Zeram is seated in the first place and Bilal is seated in the second place, first I'll request Zeram to stand up from his place and leave the chair, and he will move to a temporary location. Assume this to be Zeram and then Bilal. So Zeram will move to temp location, then Bilal will come from his place to Zeram's location, and now Zeram will move from his temp location to the second location. So this is going to be an incorrect value. I hope that we have identified it correctly now. Line number 2. Line number 2, a problem, counter string is wrong. It should have been counted integer. Then line number 9 is a problem. It should have been swapped equals to true. Then line number 10 is a problem. It should not be or. It should be and. And then, because otherwise, if that is not the case, then it won't happen. Both the conditions have to be met. If any one condition is false, then it will not continue. The next one is the problem here, that it should have been line 17, item list of counter +1 equals to temp. And then line number 19, a problem which should have been end if. And in this manner, we have identified all the problems, isn't it? Line number 2, line number 9, line number 10, line number 17, and line number 19. Understood? Just go through it. Any questions? We have discussed it right now. Any questions? Any problem? Okay, now let's move to the next question. A bubble sort algorithm can be written to include features that make it more efficient. Explain why the corrected bubble sort algorithm is efficient. Now, this is a 3-mark question. 1 mark per point, maximum 3. The use of a flag set initially to false to show if a swap has been made during the current iteration. To stop the loop if it has been sorted, like that is why we have used the variable swapped, because it might happen that you don't need any sorting to be done. The data is already sorted. So the swapped variable is very helpful in this case. The reduction in the limit of the inner loop after each iteration, as you can see, we have used the inner loop to work for like 1 less times each time the pass is handled. I hope that that is making sense, isn't it? Okay, any issues? Now, question number 5. Analysis is one stage in the program development lifecycle. State one other stage in the program development lifecycle. Analysis is told to us. The others are design, coding, testing. So if a student has written any one other stage, he'll be scoring 1 out of 1. Okay. Now, describe the analysis stage of the PDLC, program development lifecycle. What is it? Now, see, it's a 3-mark question, so a student can write down 3 valid points. First one, a student can talk about abstraction, which means discarding irrelevant information and only talking about the relevant details. And actually, you are going to keep the important information into consideration, and you will leave the not. It can be decomposition of the problem, breaking down the problem into inputs, processes, and outputs, identification of the problem, identification of the requirements of the solution, research into by data collection. And by data collection, we mean that we can perform interviews, observations, questionnaires, and other means to gather the data from the people who are performing all the activities. Isn't it easy? So if a student has written any of these answers, he will be scoring the marks. Now, question number 6. Outline one type of verification check that could be used when inputting data. Verification check. It's a question of 2 marks. If a student has talked about the verification check like visual check or double entry and has explained it properly, he will be gaining the marks. Visual check, looking at the data that has been entered and either confirming it is correct or not by showing the errors or correcting the errors. Or in double entry, or when the data is entered twice. Basically, the data is entered twice and the 2 sets of data are compared by the computer. Like, for example, whenever you are talking about the password entry, so you are asked to re-enter the password. And this is done just to match that whether both the passwords are matching or not. And if an error is found, if the 2 passwords are not matching, it means that it is requested that the user should re-enter the data. This is your verification. Be clear, it's verification and not validation. Do not get confused. That clearly, this is what the students normally do, that they don't pay attention to the keywords, and by mistake that they may write the validation checks rather than writing verification. So be very cautious. Whenever you get the paper, read it thoroughly and then answer. Do not do the work in haste. Again, I'm suggesting. Okay. Question number 7. This pseudocode represents an algorithm. An input of -1 will terminate the algorithm. And what is it? Declare count integer, declare answer integer, declare value integer, repeat input value. If value is not equal to -1, then answer equals to value. For count equals to value -1 to 1 step -1, answer, arrow answer into count, next count. Output answer, end if, until value equals to -1. This is your algorithm. And let's see, complete the trace table for the input data. And what is the input data? The first input data is your value of 5, then 6 and -1. Now let's see. Let me talk about one. Value, count, answer, output. Value input was 5. The first input was 5. Okay. Now let's move to our algorithm, pseudocode. And let's see. Input value is 5. It's not equal to -1. It enters. Answer will hold the value of value, means 5. Then the loop will iterate value -1, which means 5 -1 means 4 to 1. Because it is step -1, it will go in the reverse order. And in the loop, in this inner loop, it will be performing the multiplication answer into count. So let's see, and then output answer will be done. Value 5 in the value 5 that was stored in variable value is stored in answer. And now my work starts. Count equals to value -1 to 1. Value -1 will be 4. Then answer into count means 4 into count is going to be 5 times 4 is 20. Then 20. Then it will be subtracting the value of count by 1. Step -1 makes it 3. Then 20 times 3 is going to be 60. Then the value of count will be decreased by 1 again. It becomes 2. 60 times 2 is going to be 120. Again, the value of count will be decreased by 1. It becomes 1. 120 times 1 will be 120. And now the output column will have the result of answer, that is 120, that will be displayed here. After that, until value goes to -1. Since you can see for yourself, the value is not -1. The value is 5. That's why it will move up and it will iterate again. So now you can do with 6. And let's see what is the answer, giving you time. I hope that you have understood, isn't it? Any questions? Any ambiguity? Anything that is unclear? Work with the value 6 and see the result. And remember, do not use a calculator. Yes, exactly. Done? Okay, now let's see. Is our answer matching or not? The value is 6. You can see 6 moves here in answer. Value of count is decreased by 1. 5 times 6 is 30, then decreased by 1. 4 times 30 is 120, decreased by 1. It's 120 times 3 is 360, decreased by 1, it becomes 2. 360 times 2 is 720. And again, decreased by 1 makes it count to be 1. And 720 times 1 will be 720. And the output column will have 720. Now, it will again move up. And now you can see the value is -1. So when the value -1 is moving in the column of value, so you can see these values are just given to make them understand that whether you have understood it or not. Basically, this -1 will terminate the loop. It won't move again. So once the value -1 is input value -1, if value is not equal to -1, only then it enters. And since the value is -1, that's why if will not be handled, it moves to this condition and the loop will terminate. So that's why extra values given in the examination paper are just there to trick you. Please be cautious. 29 and 4 will not be handled. Okay? Okay, now what is it doing? What is this flowchart doing? See, the purpose of the flowchart of this, say the purpose of this algorithm. Basically, it is multiplying the values, multiplying the input number by 1 less than itself, like it repeatedly until the value is -1. It calculates the number of permutations of all the numbers up to the input value. Or if you really recall, the students of AdMath, the students of math can recall, basically it is the factorial function. Okay, so it is basically written factorial even, then that will also give you 1 mark. Fine. Now, next C part. Describe the problem that would be caused in this algorithm if a value of 1, 0, or less than -1 was input. See what will happen. The program would accept the value and enter the for loop. Definitely. Count will keep on reducing by 1 and would never reach 1. And this will make your program a never terminating loop, a never ending loop. The loop will never terminate. It will keep on iterating, and that is basically a problem with your program. Okay? Understood this? And this is going to be, if answered properly, you will gain 2 out of 2. Now, question number 8. Different types of test data are used during program development to make sure a program works as intended. A program being developed takes as input whole numbers that are not greater than 80. Not greater than 80. I highlighted for you. Identify 2 items of test data to test the whole number limit of 80. Now, explain the reason for your choice of the data in each case. Test data 1, just taken as an example, 80. And you can say the largest whole number that would be accepted at the very limit, boundary, or extreme data that would be accepted, and that will give you the marks. So 80 is basically the boundary data or the extreme data you can talk about. And 81, the smallest whole number that would be rejected because it is greater than the limit. Or you can even say it's the abnormal value, or you can even say it's to be the boundary value as we have been discussing till now. And this boundary value will be in the rejected phase. So remember, 80 will be accepted and 81 will be rejected. So in this manner, you can answer and score 4 out of 4. Not a difficult thing at all, isn't it? Okay. Now, moving to question number 9. Consider the logic expression X equals to not P or Q, NAND Q XOR R. Draw a logic circuit for this logic expression. Each logic gate must have a maximum of 2 inputs. Do not simplify the logic expression. You have to keep it the way it is. Now you can see not P or Q. So here you can see NOT gate drawn with P or Q. One signal coming from Q, going to the last NAND gate, and then Q XOR R, and the input is going to the, this outcome of this circuit is going to the NAND gate. In this manner, if you have drawn each of these symbols properly, proper symbols drawn along with the lines will give you 4 out of 4. Isn't it easy? Now the next part, as we know, is going to be for completing the truth table for the given logic expression. So just for simplicity, I've color-coded it so we can understand it easily. Not P or Q, NAND Q XOR R. Not P done for you, the reverse of P. Not P or Q. For this, we have taken this symbol, this column, and the column Q, and we have generated, as you can see, not P means the value of P is reversed, and we get the answer as 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. Not P or Q. 1 or 0 is a 1. 1 or 0 is a 1. 1 or 1 is a 1. 1 or 1 is a 1. 0 or 0 is a 0. 0 or 0 is a 0. 0 or 1 is a 1. And 0. So here you can see the answer for not P or Q. Then X XOR R means the 2 columns here. Q's or R, Q's or R, 0, 0, same, 0, 0, 1, opposite a 1, 1 or 0, opposite a 1, 1 or 1, same is a 0, 0 or 0, same is a 0, 0 or 1, opposites a 1, 1 or 0, opposites a 1, 1 or 1, same is a 0. So we have found the answer for X XOR applied on Q and R. Any issues? And lastly, it's a NAND. NAND, I hope that you remember. Not P or Q and Q's or R. 1 and 0 is a 0. Reverse is going to be a 1. 1 and 1 is a 1. Reverse will be going to give you a 0 for NAND. 1 and 1. Okay, now exactly. This is what we have learned early. I hope that you know the truth table and you can draw. You can complete the last column, and you can see your answer will be 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1. Now take your minute and do it. Yourself, exactly, NAND gate, you know very well. Complete the truth table and let's compare the answers. Matching? Great. Let's move to the next question. This one is needing a little bit of your attention. The function length of x calculates the length of a string x. Write the pseudocode statements to allow a line of text to be input to an appropriate variable. Choice is mine. Store this line of text in a text file called main.txt. Calculate the length of line of text and output the text in lowercase along with its length. Store the lowercase line of text. Make sure that any variables used are declared and that both text styles are closed after they have been used. Now, these are some prerequisites. You have highlighted them, you have understood them, and you can see marks are going to be as per declarations, input a line of text, correct use of L case, as we have learned, and the use of length, opening of the required files, storing the correct line of text to the main.txt and lowercase.txt, and closing. And if you have used the correct output, that's going to be definitely a cherry on top. Now let's see what is going to be the example. Since they have given me appropriate variables, so you can see this is just an example of appropriate variables. Declare line of text string, lowercase text string. Up to you. I mean, again, a suggestion. Your variable choice should be the correct one. Input line of text, their input open file main.txt for write. Write file main.txt, comma, line of text. This is the original line of text that is written to the main file, and then we are immediately closing the main file. It's present already in the memory, that's correct. Now we are applying LCase. By using LCase function on the line of text, the value is stored in another variable, as we have declared right now. lowercase text, arrow, L case of line of text, and we are simply outputting just output lowercase text, comma, length of line of text. That was the requirement. I was supposed to output the lowercase value and then output the length of the original text also. After that, the last thing that I'm supposed to do is to write the lowercase value into the new file, the lowercase.txt file. So that is why you can see open file lowercase.txt for write, then write file lowercase.txt. Again, the syntax you have to learn, and only then you will be able to score. Write file lowercase.txt, comma, lowercase text, and close. See, just be careful. Here we close the text files, not the line of text exactly. So just a little bit of caution is needed, and it's not a difficult thing. Just for that, you need to know the string functions appropriately, and 6 marks are yours. Like, it's basically a combination of string functions and your file handling. See, it's so easy, isn't it? Any questions? Can we move to the next question? Again, a repetition is needed. If you have any questions, any problem, then you can watch the videos of the text handling as well as file handling, and inshallah, you'll be able to understand. Fine. A database table called Booking 28 stores details of hotel rooms and bookings for the week beginning Monday, 7 July 2025. Now you can see the fields: room NO, type, guests, rate dollar, MONTUE, WED, THU, FRI, SAT, SUN. These are your fields, and let's see the questions. What is the first question being asked? State the number of fields and records in this database table. So we have counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 fields. So we have written 11 here, and we have scored a mark. Records, as you can see. Now, for records, just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then we move down, 15 records. It's so easy to score 2 out of 2, isn't it? Now let's move to the other part of the question. State the reason why the type field would not be suitable as a primary key. Now see this one, type field. Definitely it's not the right option because the type field contains data that is repeated. It is not storing unique values. So definitely that is not the right option to be used, and that is going to give you 1 mark. By the way, which one do you think is a better option? Exactly, row menu, as it is scoring unique values. That's wonderful, Ali. Now let's move to the next part, although they're not asking me to do, but still, if they ask me, I can mention the alternate primary key. The database uses only the data types alphanumeric, character, Boolean, integer, real, date, time. Complete the table to show the fields that could have the given data types. Only one field name is required in each box, and each field name, these are your data types: alphanumeric, as we have seen, room NO, and type are the best option. Then for Boolean, MONTUE, WED, THU, FRI, SAT, SUN, they all were holding FRT. That's why they are the right option. Real is your rate dollar, as you can see. Let me show it to you again. Rate dollar is the right one to be used as it is containing the decimal part. T, T, F, F are being stored in all these days of the week. And guests is integer. So that is why the variable guests, the field guests is the right option to be used for. Okay, now very rightly said, Ali, that's very, very good and wonderful. That room NO will be without a space. Guests is integer. In this manner, if you have writing the right fields, appropriate fields will give you 2 out of 2. Fine, isn't it good? Okay, now the last, give the output that would be produced by the structured query language statement. Select room NO, comma, type, comma, guests, comma, rate dollar from booking 28, where mon is not equal to T. Now here I need to move back and I need to figure out the values where mon is not T, means it is, in other words, F. We have figured out this row, we have figured out this row, we have figured out this row, and 3 rows here. And then if we move down, 1 more row here and 1 more row here. So we are supposed to look at our data and we have to finish this answer very quickly and figure out, are we able to find out the answer? Very quickly do it. You all have your data. You all have your paper. Quickly go through this and write the answer. And this is the answer. This is your requirement that you have to write the room menu, type, guests, and rate dollar fields data as your answer. 5 records are meeting the criteria. Very quickly do it. Yes, and then we will compare our answers. Okay, done? Great. Let's see. 104S, single 1, 72.50, 105S. Check the answers. Are they matching? So if you have answered them accurately, then you will be scoring 3 out of 3. See? Okay. Now, I hope that the learning journey was really very good for you. Hope that you have liked the explanation. Subscribe the channel, and for the last question, stay tuned. We will be doing the scenario-based question, inshallah, very soon with a lot of explanation. Keep watching, keep learning, keep liking. May Allah bless you. May Allah help you in your learning journey. Allah Hafiz.